Hi, Shin. Good morning.
Hi, morning.
We'll wait for a few more minutes to see if more folks join.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we have something need to update in this morning and in this meeting.
Sorry, Shingun, I did not get the question. You're asking if there are more people joining?
I just want to today the agenda of this meeting.
Yeah, let me share my screen. I've got a couple of items to discuss. So we basically talking about getting a mailing list and a GitHub repo, etc. So that is available to us through the service desk. We also have a dictionary that we discussed last time. I'm not sure if you had a chance to go through it. So I just wanted to do a very quick run on that and propose some new items to be added there. And we also talked about creating a template for users who want to come and present here. One of our goals was to get users to come and talk about their chaos engineering journey a little bit. A short presentation of around 20 minutes or so. And we wanted to provide a standardized deck that they can use and a set of questions that they can answer as part of that. So this is what I have on the agenda. We could go ahead and add more items here to discuss. In the last meeting, it was just Calvin and myself. And we covered a few things there, which I just wanted to go through. Does this look good? Do you have any other items that you'd like to add here, Shengwen?
Oh, I don't have some question about this. Oh, I just want to know next is what is the plan? Is when we're going to on this work group or white paper?
Sure. I think we sort of went through that in the last couple of discussions. The idea is to have a white paper available before KubeCon NA, which is I think in the second week of October. And we wanted to have at least 4 or 5 user presentations where people can come and talk about their chaos engineering journey. And we are able to take some of that feedback into the white paper. And also fill in some sections that we can do independently. And that was also one of the items of the agenda. So scope of the work group at this point is to just fill in the sections that we talked about initially in the white paper. Some of them we can do asynchronously and some of them we plan to put based on user presentations. And the user presentation is something that we want at least, let's say, 4 or 5 of them packed in before we finalize the first cut for KubeCon NA, and we wanted to provide a slide deck which they can use to present. This is what I have proposed and I have shared on the doc. So people can come and talk about their role in organization, their business case, and talk about some pain points. At what point did they really feel they need to go to chaos engineering? What are the challenges that they faced in doing so and how they got started? There's an optional quick demo that we can add. It's something people can skip if it's not really necessary. It's about the use case that they want to show and the tool that they employed to do so. And then they can talk about what is the tangible outcomes that they saw, what they plan to do next, as much as can be revealed. And we'd also like to ask them what they need, what they would like to see from the chaos engineering community of CNCF. What are the resources that they would like better equipped with, if at all they want to do so. The goal of these user presentations is to bring in an end user perspective. Shinkan, I think this group primarily comprises of people from different projects, different tags, but I think it's important to get in a viewpoint from outside. And while it is good that we bring that viewpoint individually as project maintainers and contributors, it would be great to have someone come and talk about that directly. And their stories can be embedded as use cases within the white paper for greater credibility. That is the intent of this presentation. So I think as part of this work group, one of our goals is to get going with these over the next few calls. And we've been meeting once in a couple of weeks. And I think we've sort of used the first few meetings to create an agenda, both create a charter and create some artifacts. So you can see that there is a mailing list. I would recommend you to join this so that we can communicate here. All the interested parties can add themselves here. This is something that we've been assigned recently. And we also have a Git repository within CNCF where we can put things. I still do not have commit bits on this repository. We requested for that. I'd be happy to add any of you as well, in case you would like to have the commit bits. I have a pull request here which just talks about the different documents used within this work group, the charter and the white paper draft and the meeting notes, all that. We will also have a section for user presentation that we will keep here. And I've requested for permissions to upload into YouTube, yet to receive that. And we have all these recordings that we anyways have. User presentations also can be part of this going forward. We can update it. And one of the proposals I had was, since we sort of have an idea of what we're going to do as part of this work group and what timelines we might have. I think Mila asked a similar question, I think, in the meeting prior to the last one. How long are we going to continue with the work group and what is the goal? At this point, I think the goal of the work group is to create the white paper, and for that, we're planning to embed some user scenarios and journeys as part of reference stories. So I think this meeting will be utilized to sort of get those presentations in, and then also collaborate about what sections we managed to fill in our white paper. So coming, and there was, of course, this slide deck is something that I can share on the mailing list. I just have it on this doc right now, just share it with everyone. But I can put it on the mailing list as well. So you feel free to share it with your users, and if there is someone who is interested in coming forward and talking about their journey, then that would be awesome. I've been reaching out to some folks within the Litmus community who are interested to come and talk. We did have a user who planned to come today but was unable to make it in the end and sends regrets. So we could do that. And since we'd like to get a few presentations in before we finalize the first bit of the white paper, it might be better to expedite that and probably decrease the intervals between these meetings. We could do it on a weekly basis instead of once in 2 weeks because we have a more focused agenda, and it could be shorter in the interest of time and make it easy for all the people involved. Could be something like
sorry.
What's
It's either
your
your internet or mine, but you were breaking up a bit. Sorry.
All right. Is it better now?
Yeah, it is much better.
Okay. I was just saying that I hope you got most of what I said, Mila. I was just trying to say that now that we have a focused agenda as far as what we'll do as part of this meeting, what we will utilize it for, we can probably do it on a weekly basis for a shorter interval, something like 30 minutes, where folks can come and present, because we'd like to get in at least 4 or 5 use cases in that we'll put as reference stories. And we probably need not wait for the 2-week cycle. We can just have a shorter call, maybe at the same time every week, and get in more user presentations in. How does that sound to you folks?
I think that sounds great, but I thought, so do we have to like have an agenda for who's inviting the users, for example, next week or the week after?
Yeah, I think we would have to plan that in advance, and we could probably discuss that either here or on the Slack channel. If you have someone that's actually coming forward to present, I think that's great. We could go ahead and schedule it already.
Yeah.
I am currently in the process of reaching out to some folks, and we had someone who wanted to come today but couldn't, and I just mentioned that here. But yeah, I think if there's someone that you have in mind already for the next week, we could add that into the agenda. We could sort of schedule that offline, Mila, and add that into the. We can keep adding it to the upcoming presentations section, and we could keep doing it on a queued basis.
That's a great idea. We can just add that if we think of someone who might be like interested to share or have the time next week or the week after.
Okay. All right. So I think I'll probably post folks that are all right to present here in the upcoming presentation section, and I would recommend you to do the same, and then we can just put slots for that. And I will probably change the meeting, the calendar invite to make it weekly, and we could change the agenda. Probably the presentations of the users can be for something around 20 minutes, and then we could add 10 minutes to discuss progress of the white paper, what sections we're filling in, and etc. Details about that. Does it sound good?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, so yeah, this was about the GitHub repository that I wanted to share. I hope you're able to see this. And the mailing list is here. Please feel free to add yourself here. I think we can do some user communication here and probably share some notes. Slack is good as well, but if at all we sort of need formal communication, we could still use this mailing list. Right now, it's a group that we keep adding to. I heard Aradhana asking for some participants that she wanted to add from the security tag. So I think this is a better way to sort of do it. People can come and subscribe rather than us having to, keep adding folks into the invite. And this is also on the CNCF calendar now. You might have noticed that. So this meeting is on the CNCF calendar, and as part of this open service desk ticket, I'm going to request for making it weekly, just as we make our Google invite as well, so that we can start doing user presentations. Okay, so that's what I had to discuss in terms of user presentations and how we can structure this call going forward. So Shengwen, your question was, what's the goal of the working group and how we are going to proceed? So one part of that is what we just discussed. And the other part is about the actual content that we plan to write in the white paper. On that, there is a dictionary that we started putting together. It's like a glossary or dictionary, what would you want to call it, for chaos engineering. And this is an artifact that we were discussing, I think, a couple of meetings back. Something that we can start putting in, referring to in our project documentation, or redirecting users to understand chaos engineering. There's a lot of material interspersed on the internet. In fact, there's too much info, and it can get a little bit difficult for people to navigate through tons of information. So we wanted to crystallize that. The beginning part, people, when they come in and start chaos engineering, they want to understand what it really is. We just wanted to give them a very quick overview of what it is. And that is why this glossary is not alphabetically sorted. It is more on the user flow or the journey. People want to understand what chaos engineering is, what are its principles, what constitutes an experiment, and how they carry out an experiment by defining blast radius and defining the application under state, under test, cutting out a steady state hypothesis, identifying the right observability parameters, and then going ahead and identifying the persona that is carrying out this chaos process and the method that they use to follow it. And what are they going to observe, or what are they going to derive or infer from these experiments? So that's the way in which we are structuring this. Most of these terminologies, some of them are standard definitions we have that is available, whereas some of the information is written in layman language. I'm happy to receive reviews on this, and we can tweak this more if you're interested to make it simpler. But the idea is to not provide definitions, but give people an idea of what it is and how they can sort of understand it in a simpler way. This consists of standard chaos engineering stuff, but we can add concepts related to cloud native chaos engineering, the ones that most of the projects here are involved in. As far as the project specific documentation goes, terminologies that are specific to the individual projects, I think that can be part of the project documentation. Maybe we could add some subsections here to say these are terms you might encounter in case you're using this tool. But the idea is to keep it more generic. So that's a section. This is a part of the white paper. I hope you remember that we did have a section there to talk about the glossary. This is where we sort of start putting it together. So it is not comprehensive by any means. We can add more things there. And I think the glossary was one of the things that we plan to add. And there are things missing here. For example, security related terminologies might be missing there. Concepts might be missing there, so we can add them. Maybe we can reach out to folks from security tech to add it. So this is the section that we added towards the white paper. I just wanted to share some progress on that front. So feel free to add more to that glossary. It's a shared document, or feel free to start working on any other sections you feel relevant. And as far as one of the other sections we wanted to add in the white paper, it was about the tools. This is something I'm sure we can fill it asynchronously. What are the tools? I see that the operator working group and GitOps working group did add a list of tools that are there in the landscape. So feel free to add about Chaos Mesh, Chaos Blade, and all the tools that are planned, what it does, a brief summary of what the tool achieves, and where you can find documentation and links, etc. That section is something that we can add quickly. The only question there was, there's a ever increasing set of tools there. So do we talk about the most popular ones and just give a link to the awesome chaos engineering wiki page that is all the tools, Or how would you like to go about this? This is a question I just wanted to broach today. Any thoughts, opinions? I think there's an awesome chaos page. Which has a lot of tools, a lot of information that's available here. We could go ahead and just list this as part of the white paper for sure. But do you think we need to also elaborate on the ones that are there in the CNCF landscape? I think there are some 4 or 5 tools listed there. So we can probably talk about that and provide this wiki link at the end of it. Does that sound okay to you? Or? I see Sayam is here. Hi,
Yeah, hi
Sayam.
Karthik.
Hi. We were just going through what we have. We have some progress on the logistics front. There is a Git repository where we're putting some artifacts as a mailing list. We also have it on the CNCF calendar. We're just sharing that with the rest of the team. We have the dictionary now, which we are in the process of expanding. There are some things there we can get more help on, especially with security and things like that. That's where we are on the dictionary. And we plan to get in some user presentations back in at least 4 or 5 of them, which we can embed as reference stories in our white paper and get a first cut before the KubeCon NA. And there's a slide deck template that folks can make use of. It has some questions or subtopics there that will make it simpler for people to sort of fill in and talk about. And we also have another section that we can add in the white paper about tools. I see other working groups have covered tools of the landscape. I was just saying there are a lot of tools available. There's a wiki page, so we can just list that in this section, but we could also probably elaborate with a single paragraph on each tool that's there in the CNCF landscape. I'm just seeking some opinions on that. Any thoughts from you?
Yep, I think the tools from the CNCF landscape and a brief about them would be definitely good. I and Karthik Gaikwad actually did on Litmus, Chaos, and Kraken in the KubeCon, where we just discussed, what the tool does and what it offers. So that should be good for folks to know what is there in the landscape and how actually it works. And also
Sure.
I was thinking, like, if for the I don't know if it can be covered, but for the starters, if we all can make a single kind of introduction to chaos engineering, something like that, maybe a slide deck, or maybe because in the white paper the terminology is fine, but how do we connect the dots is kind of what we can actually do, like the similar one I just presented recently, something like that, with the consent of all of the folks who are there in the call, so we can create something standard that can be given to anybody who is new to chaos engineering or who asks what is chaos engineering, with respect irrespective of the tools that they'll be using in future.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I really liked your presentation that you did recently, Simon, where you sort of whiteboarded chaos engineering and explained what it is and I gave a picture of how people are carrying it out, and that's really good. Do you think that's something we can directly place inside the white paper as it is?
No,
It
I
looks
think that needs
pretty
work.
good.
Yeah, that needs work, because if if it is done by with more neatness and more things, yeah, I can upload it somewhere where people can try and edit that. But that was since made on my iPad, so only it can be imported via the iPad to edit. So that is something to be looked upon. But I think, yeah, something like that only was in my mind, because in a storyline, when you tell people where we are coming from, and this is like, since 2011 time frame, something was there, but now we have different set of systems. We have like microservices architecture, the systems have evolved. So that's where the chaos engineering techniques have evolved. The infrastructure has evolved to cloud native and Kubernetes. That's where the chaos engineering products and tools have evolved. But in the end, all of these adhere to the the basic chaos terminology, the basic principles which are there. So I think that's what should be there, as somewhere that people can relate to. Okay, yeah, this is what everybody agrees on, that this is what chaos engineering is coming from, this is what it is, following all these principles, and this is how it looks like. Then we can move on to specific projects, like how they are catering to the cloud native chaos engineering.
Sure. I think there is anyways an intro section that we plan to put in the white paper. If you look at the contents here, there is introduction to chaos engineering and current state of chaos engineering. Cloud native is probably the later part. But as far as this introduction goes, I think this is probably where we can add that section. And the glossary or the terminology is anyways an appendix section that can come. And some amount of whiteboarding, and we can also embed video tutorials here. Sure.
Yep. I think it makes sense here. I'll try to modify some of the diagrams to make them look kind of professional. And we'll post to you and the other folks on the call, so that you can also have a look, edit, and then we can finally put over here.
That would be awesome. This is great. I would also request you to join the mailing list, sign. So whatever artifacts you create, either in docs or videos, you can share it around. You can also put it here, of course. You can also put it in the Slack channel and mailing list. And
where is the mailing list link?
Yeah, it is list.cncf.io.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'll join.
Cool. And we can start putting that inside the white paper. Yes, that's great.
Sure.
That's a great outcome for today's discussion. As far as the tools goes, I think thanks for pitching on that side. Any thoughts from you, Veela, Shankman? This is something that we can start putting together. You can either put it in the same white paper doc. You can just add a content item here and put it here, or you can sort of put it in a separate doc where we can polish it and then place it here. Anything is fine. Does it sound good to you? You would, I'm sure, would be interested in putting about Chaos Mesh, and just reach out to Shangjan about Chaos Blade, and maybe someone on the Gremlin Slack for Gremlin, and Litmus, of course, will put it. And I think Sylvain is there, is the interested party, so I can request him to place things for Chaos Toolkit. And this Chaos Cube as well in the landscape. So I can go and request the maintainers there. So I probably take the initiative on putting out the tool information for Litmus and reaching out to folks on Chaos Toolkit and Chaos Cube. Is that something you would be doing for Chaos Mesh and Chaos Blade?
Yes, I will reach out to him and ask if he would like to put something in there as well.
Great. Great. exclude here. Okay. These are more, I think, Gremlin is also there. Feel free to reach out to them. I could also look that up, but we might be doing it most probably. And we'll get that. So these are the tools today in the landscape. And of course, we'll link to the wiki page containing the other tools. So folks can pick what interests them. I think this is the section that is a low-hanging fruit for the white paper. So also the glossary and the intro section, which Siam is going to be working on. I'll probably go and reach out to Aradhana and other folks to see if they want anything else added on the dictionary. So I think we've all agreed to meet next week, potentially if we have someone to present. Is that the right understanding? Mila, Shengwen, I'll probably add some upcoming presentation sections here. Feel free to add it. If we do have some entries here and somebody's ready to present on the next week, then we'll probably go ahead and set up that call. Does this sound okay to you?
Yeah, we'll think of and ask a few users, but probably I think next week would be a bit tight, maybe the week after, or but we will ask around starting
Sure.
this week for sure.
So the next week happen, I think the next Friday happens to be the 10th of September. Okay, sounds good. Then I think we can let the calendar be to the standard 2-week ones, and we can do a Google invite and call people on demand if at all there is something in the queue, and not probably change this immediately into a weekly one. We can inform prior on Slack and then probably set it up while we continue to meet as per the regular cadence as of today. All right, sounds great. Anything else, Shengwen? I hope this gives us some better clarity on how we are trying to approach things. Sort of an elongated answer to your question. Does this look okay to you?
Oh, sorry. I don't have any question about this.
Okay, great. I think that's all we had for the agenda. Saim, do you have anything to add, anything to discuss?
Nope, I think I covered my points.
Okay, thank you. With that, we can end today's discussion. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Yep, thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.